Hey friends, hey, happy Sunday afternoon. Come on in, guys, have a seat at the table. Let's talk, let's craft. Let's enjoy a peaceful Sunday. What do you say? Well, we'll try, because there's no telling what may happen. You know, the dogs may bark. Who knows what'll go on. But I hope you'll come in and join. I'm Cheryl, Mama P at Mama P's Crafty Creations, and I'm here today as part of the Crafty Bunch. It is our Sunday Crafter's Choice event time. So everybody on today is doing a craft that they like, that they enjoy, that they love doing. And I am excited to be here and be a part of it. I love the Crafty Bunch. I love the teamwork. I love the camaraderie. I love getting to know newer pages. I like all of those things. Hey, Kathy, welcome in. Welcome in. And I'm excited today to be here. Hey, Carrie. And we are going to work in both of the journal covers that we started the other day. Hey, Christina, how are you? And I've pulled out papers and kind of sorted out what papers I want to put in for pages. And today we're going to see if we can get them sized and sewn in. That's the goal. We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? That's all right. Whatever we get will be good, and we'll be excited about it. So come on in, grab yourself something to drink, get comfortable at the table. Hey, Miss Becky, how are you doing, sister? Hello, hello. Are you feeling any better? Are you recovering? Tell me what's going on. Tell me what is up. Let me show you my necklace, guys. I'm so excited. I don't know. Hang on, let me take it off so I can show you. But you remember I was making these the other day. I made myself, oh, the glare is terrible. There we go. I made myself a Grammy necklace, and then I added charms, a little girl charm and a little boy charm. Isn't that fun? Oh, they were in my area buying a car. Oh my gosh, Christina, how exciting. I wish you were with them. Could have come seen me. You could have come seen me. Okay, so we've got 45 minutes together this afternoon to see what we can do. Now, this is all I've done since we were together last. You remember that we built this soft journal cover out of an Amazon shipping bag, one of the brown craft bags. You can use that, or you can use the bubble mailer ones, and they just give you a nice feeling soft cover. Now, it's not silent, right? It's going to make noise, but I kind of like that. And you remember we covered it with this beautiful green floral fabric, whatever day works for you, Christina, and got it all the way around. Now, I took it out and I just ran my sewing machine. Oh my gosh, Becky, what is next? I'm glad the pain's better. I'm glad the pain is better, and hopefully it's just some nerve irritation that'll go away. So I took it out to my sewing machine, and I just went all the way around the edges to sew together. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Just to secure it. Now, remember, we used our Fabri-Tac glue mostly, so this would have been perfectly secure without sewing, but on these soft covers, it will go through my machine pretty easy, so I like to take the extra step to sew down. Hey, Capri. And then on the inside, just to create something that we can close the book with, I just took a piece of my vintage lace and I sewed it here. I gotta find it. I sewed it right in the middle, and then I sewed it just on each edge, and I left it open so that we can use it for a little tuck. Hi, Janet. How are you today? So our cover now is ready for pages. Okay, we'll still do some more decorative work on it, but it is ready now to receive the pages. Okay, so that's what we have with this one. And I haven't done a single thing with the little one, the hardcover one that we were working at. You're doing okay, Janet? And it's just here all dried up. That doesn't sound very good. All dried up. Okay, so let me show you what I've pulled out of my stash. Thank you, Kimberly, for each of the pages of the book. Now, I pulled out similar papers for each one. So I have some map. You know, I love a map. Anytime we're making any kind of a journal, I always think about the fact that our lives are a journey, and I love a piece of map paper. So I have a piece of map pulled out. And then I added a couple of sheets of homemade paper. Now, I did not homemake this paper. Learning to make paper is on my crafting bucket list, and it just keeps getting pushed off the schedule. But I ordered this from a sweet lady through Facebook. If you're interested in homemade paper, send me a message and I will link you up to her. But it's beautiful, and she does it in every color you can imagine. So I pulled out a couple of pages. This is kind of a gray, but I like the way it works with the colors in our fabrics. So I got that. This is a table of contents page out of an old book. Ooh, I like that. Let's go to Alabama. Let's all go to Alabama. And so I like it because it's not only beautiful brown around the edges, but it is, hey Debbie, how are you? It's kind of a heavier paper, kind of a thicker paper. Okay. Then in the box of papers that I purchased from the lady, not the homemade paper, another lady, because I can't help myself. She had some cute little ledger paper, and these pages are double, so we're going to use them in our book. Good afternoon, Nancy. Hello, hello. Hey, Mindy, good to see you. Then I've got, you remember we saw these beautiful prints in there? Oh, let's see. I have made the homemade rice paper, Christina, and I love it. This is made out of paper fiber, and I love that. And it is more like vellum when you make it yourself. But I love these couple of colored prints, and we're going to tear these down. Thank you. Thank you for sprinkling. I grabbed a couple of my Civil War era letters. Hey Brenda, Miss Brenda is up right after me on the Crafty Bunch. You can just refresh from the Crafty Bunch page and she will be there. So these are authentic letters from the Civil War. I love to tuck these into my books. Now, I don't think we'll sew this in, but I wanted to make sure I kept it with the book. This one is dated July 23rd, 88, it says. Friend Ida. Isn't it beautiful? Hey, Danette, LaBelle Junk is in the house. Good to see you. So I pulled that out to make sure, look at the beautiful envelope, that I remembered to put it in there. And, when you come across treasure like this, we got to use it. So if I put it in this book, we can enjoy it. Then in some happy mail, I received these wonderful certificates, front and back sided. We're going to figure out how we're going to fold it and include that. A couple of hymnal pages. Isn't it gorgeous, Christina? Hi, Charlotte. I love music in my books. So I pulled out some of my old hymnal pages. This is just a nice heavy piece of typing paper. Oh, there's the paper doily I thought I lost. There it is. It's in there. This is some of our music that was from Ernest Tubb. You remember that music book? So I grabbed it. We're going to wind up with too many pages, but we can sort that out. Hello, welcome. This is just a business letter dated 1931 from the Department of State. They're enclosing the Articles of Association. But look at the cool color. Hi, Diana. That paper is. How could we not try to find a place in there? Hey, Lucille, how are you? Welcome, welcome. This is just an old book page with a cute illustration and a piece of dictionary. Is that a lot of paper? That's probably a lot of paper. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we got to kind of get it folded and then we can kind of trim it off to make it fit. So that's kind of my process. It's not very organized, but it works for me. So now I'm just going to take my pages that I want to use. Now I want to show you that this paper is probably too fragile to be sewn in unless I fix it. I don't know if you could see it or not, but when a paper reaches a particular age. Hi, Paula. How are you? Hello, guys. Come on in. It's so good to see you. When a paper reaches a certain age, when you go to fold it, it will just crack where you fold it. And at that time, can you see if I get it? See how it's ruggedy right here? That's telling me that it's breaking and not folding. And, oh, you got some medicine. I hope they help in a hurry. If we try to sew through this, it'll become perforated and tear through. The solution to that, and I don't know that I have any here handy enough to use it, is a piece of washi tape. Washi tape is fantastic. This is way too thin. or narrow, or even a piece of masking tape will work, and just put it right along that fold, and it will work. You're making my cookies, yay, for Christmas. I'm so excited. Okay, so I need a piece of tape on that one. I have this green, and honestly, I'll just put it on here and I'll show you that it doesn't really show as much as you think it might once it's in the book. So we're just gonna take one piece. You don't need it on both sides. We have really enjoyed those cookies, Christina. Those, are you making the caramel corn ones? They were really pretty good. Who would have thought? I mean, really. Okay, so I'm just gonna put this piece of masking tape right over where I folded the paper and it wanted to crack, okay? And then I'm gonna fold. Now you can see that it completely cracked through. Can you see the green tape? But that's okay. Now when we sew through the tape, it will hold, okay? The book page, we're just gonna fold in half and see what happens. That one did not crack, so we got lucky there. Our letter, it was folded in thirds, and we're gonna fold it in seconds. It also did not crack. Hey, Leveda, how are you? And so that's what I do. I kind of just go through and fold everything the way I want it to fit. I have more than one doily here, I think. Hi, Diane, how are you? How are you? We went to church this morning, and then we grabbed sub sandwiches from the Quick Trip. We're fancy like that, and had that for lunch. And at 3:30, the Chiefs game comes on. And since I live in Kansas City, the world comes to a halt when the Chiefs kick off. So we have to get everything we want done before kickoff, which is 3:30 today. Hey, Lisa. So my live ends at the perfect time. Okay, so we're just stacking and folding our papers. Now our hymnal paper, this also happens to be where the pages are complete. So let me check our little cover here. Okay. And if we lay these hymnal pages in, they fit perfectly. Hi, Betty. How are you? They really do fit okay. So I'm going to leave these intact. Okay. And I'm just going to fold them like that. Okay. Now, the certificate paper, I am absolutely infatuated with this paper. I love these old business papers. And this extra flap, I'm just gonna fold in, and we'll make an automatic pocket out of that one, okay? Here's our little letter. Now this, I know what I really want is the picture. Now I'm using very few tools today, which I really like that. I love some good fancy paper, Capri. It is a thing. It really is a thing. And I'm just gonna tear everything today. But I like to use a tear ruler because I'm not that free terror. I like torn, but I like straight torn. I bought a tearing ruler that has the ridges in it, and I immediately lost it. I think it must be a sign. I think it must be a real sign. I wonder that all the time about my papers. The cover for this one was made out of an Amazon mailing envelope, one of the brown craft paper ones. And I did them. I made 2 covers, and it is, hey, Susie, how are you? And they're on a live from last week where we made the covers. You're at your craft show. Oh, I hope it's going well. I hope it's going well. And since I went ahead and tore the sides off this, I'm just going to remove the top and bottom as well. You know, there you go. You're watching the Bears. Well, at least they're winning. Yeah. I can, as a Kansas City person now, I can say that our Chiefs are either brilliant or they're not. And so every game is a new experience as to whether they're going to be brilliant or not. Now this also tried to crack. I don't know if you can see that. I am going to put a little piece of tape right in here as well, just to give it a little protection. Hello, Linda. Linda, I love watching you paint. I love to watch people who know how to paint. I wish I was one of them. I love to paint. It's one of the things I never take time for. Okay, we're going to start with 2 pages of ledger. I'm gonna fold them in half, but I'm gonna leave them super wide because I would rather tuck them in. Yeah, the last game was not so good. Okay, and then we have our table of contents page. And I just love this because it's so nice and thick. And I'm absolutely in love with this graphic. You want to know how to paint so bad? I tell you, I think it's just like any other creative medium. Part of it is just doing it. Don't you think so, Linda? That if you want to learn how to paint, you just have to dedicate some time to paint. and that's my problem. Really, it is. I think we could do it if we just dedicate the time. Okay, now in front of me, I have all of this beautiful old folded paper. Hey, Cheryl, how is your day going, my friend? And we're just going to figure out how we want to put it in. I always try to take extra care with the very first page that we're going to have, and then the center page, because those are the ones you're going to get full effect from. Okay, so I really think, I love this. I think we're going to go with this as our opener. Yes, you absolutely have to love what you're crafting. That's for sure. And I think we'll put our little half doily here just over the top of this, okay? So now we're starting to assemble how we want our pages to come in the book. And really, you just kind of pick them up, you lay them in. I try to go more plain and then more busy, okay? That's just me. You don't have to. You can have a book that is completely printed pages of all different kinds. It's okay. What you cover with and what you do with it later will totally change the appearance of your book. So you just put them in, and then you're going to flip back and forth, and look again and again and again. Okay? So there goes that cool ledger page. And like I said, what we'll do with these is I'm going to leave these really wide, and we'll fold them in. That way we get the number, and it makes a automatic little tuck spot. And I'm going to turn back and put one of these. Just add the things you like. That's absolutely true, because all of these pages are really just a base for the other items that we're going to add to our book as we decorate, right? So we still have our, what have we got here? We've got our document. We got to put it in there. Got to get the letter. We got to get the music. Let's get our table of contents page. Let's get our little visual old paper. Let's put this right in the middle, although let's put it right side up. I think that would be helpful. And here's another piece of our hymnal. Do you ever use a journal for? I do use my journals for journaling. I try very hard to. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Okay, so this is where it sits right now. I've got all my pages in, but this extra page of homemade paper, and I have more odds and ends paper. Hi, Jennifer, how are you? So I'm just gonna I wanna give it a look. Okay? So when we open up our journal, and we can even set it in the cover if we want, we're gonna have our little doily piece, which is backwards. I like the prettier side to be out. Isn't that the truth? You know, I have loved so many different forms of crafting and creating, and then set them aside for a little while and never quite got back. Okay, and then we have this wonderful document page. I love that the ledger piece comes after that. Then we have our dictionary page, and then we have a plain sheet here. We've got music. We've got our homemade paper, and then we have another ledger. Loving that. Then we have our letter. I love how that fits right in there. Then we have our music, and I think I want to turn it completely around and get the title there. And then we have this. I hope you guys can see okay. And then our little graphic Then we have another hymnal page, and then we have our picture. And this picture is so weird. It was printed in the book, and one way is upside right, and the other way is upside down, no matter how you put it in there. I don't like that. That bothers me. So this cannot be our centerpiece. It could be upside down in the middle of the book, but it really can't be upside down in the center of the book. So let's come back in with another piece of our homemade paper for the center. Okay, that is quite a size. How are you? Gosh. Oh, somebody was asking about using the journals. I do use them. And since we make them, you know, you have, you have some, right? And I will just toss one in my bag and use it for nothing else if it's a grocery list or something. Really, I think we're better off to use it than not. So that's how I do it. Okay, so this is my book, and you see all of the pages hanging out, and everything is all wonky. Hi, Wanda, how are you? I like, with especially a little soft cover book like this, I like to go ahead and sew them in all weird, because I want to be able to tear them, fold them, adjust them after they're in the book, and I know exactly how they're going to look. Okay, so that may not be your style, but that's one of the best things in the whole world about journaling, is you can do it however it suits you best. Hi, Sherry, how are you? So this one being a soft cover back, we don't need to do anything to it except sew our pages into it. We don't need to pre-poke any holes. We don't really need a template. I could use a couple of really good clips, but I'm not sure I've got anything up to the task. Normally, I would clip all of my pages together just to kind of keep them where I want them. But sometimes that just doesn't work. And today's one of those days, I don't think it's going to work. I'd have to have some pretty deep clips to catch it all. So I'm just going to try to hold it and hope for the best. Okay, so I've got my little book binding kit here. If you guys have bought one from me and all the fancy wrapping, you'll be excited to see that mine just rides around in this. It has an awl, and then it has waxed thread, which you can use for binding your books. This is probably the gold standard. I have used everything to bind my books. They don't get too abused, so they don't really have to have that. I use twine. I've used embroidery floss. I've used lace, whatever at the time. You're going to get, yeah, Sherry, you know, it's not permanent, right? So you cross your fingers and we'll hope for the best. And if it doesn't come out straight, you just clip the string and do it again. That's why I work with paper and not crystal, right? And then I like the biggest needle in my arsenal because it's easier for me to handle. So I always look for the longest one. And my preferred one is this one. And it's actually a tapestry needle. It's not even a bookbinding needle, but it's super long and it's sharp. So it's my favorite. Okay. So let's see if we can do this. You love those bags? Yes. I actually ordered a huge lot of the bags from Amazon, and we made the ephemera organizers with them. And I still have some, and I do too, Christina. I really like it. You can use regular thread, Cheryl. I would not use one thickness of regular thread. If you could double it or triple it, you could. You could use a heavy duty thread for sure, if you had like an embroidery weight. But embroidery floss is what I started with, and you can even wax it yourself if you want it waxed. Okay, so here we go. We're just going for it, y'all. We're just going for it. So I've got all my pages together. I'm opening it up, and I'm gonna stab right through the middle of the whole stack, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead and pull my needle on through some, and then I'm gonna lay my pages in my book. Now with this one, where I sewed the lace, I have a great marker for the middle of the book. So I'm gonna use that, and I'm going. No, Capri, I think what the wax is for is if your thread is wax coated, when you knot it, it'll actually tighten the more you use it. Does that make sense? The wax will allow it to tighten more. Okay, so let me get around here, and now we just need to get it laid out there straight. Okay. If nothing else, today's demonstration of sewing in a signature should give you courage to give it a shot, right? Because we are just going for it. Okay, so I open my book back up to the center, and I've left a nice long tail here. This will be so I don't make a big mess and pull it all the way through. Now my pages are kind of secured, and I want to go to either the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. And I go in about 1 inch from my cover. That's what I like to do. You can come, as long as you get 3 stitches in, they can be as close to the edge or as close to the middle as you like, as long as you get the 3. I traditionally go about 1 inch in. Okay? And you may not catch every paper doing that. Hi, Jennifer. And that's okay. Some of the small ones may only be caught once, and that's all right. Okay. Now I've come back through, and then I am going to go right back out through all of my pages here. If this goes well, just think how well we're going to be. Okay. Now this one, instead of going all the way through the cover at once, I like to get it and then make sure I'm in the right spot on my cover. So I can, I don't know if you can see or not, but I can see right here where my center thread, I can see where my other one is. And so I can really get a good look here of if I'm coming across a straight line, where do I want that to go? Lined up with there and lined up with here. So if you've never put a book together, this is Book Basics 101. I would recommend, if you want to try it for your first time, just get yourself a piece of cardstock to make a cover. Fold it in half, and then get you a few pieces of paper and make yourself a pretend book. That's how I started until I kind of got the feel of it, and then you'll get more comfortable. Your last stitch is to go right back in the center where you started, and hopefully you can follow that same hole all the way through. Now, I'm the first one to confess, I don't sweat it if it doesn't come exactly through that same hole. I'm really okay with that. And I'm using the table to push that. That's good. Is that a question mark, Jennifer? Or is that's good advice with an exclamation point? I need to know. I need to know. Okay. And so you can see I came back up through the middle, and it's not exactly where I started. And I'm okay with that. Okay. Now is the moment of truth. Now you pull those strings snug, and we're going to tie them in a knot. Now this is where it would be preferable that they be right next to each other or through the same hole, so that you don't have any tear in your material. Okay, slip in a knot, and then make sure we want to look across the binding and we have it straight. Then we want to open the cover, and we just want to make sure that we're snug and straight, and we are. Okay. And so now our pages are officially sewed in. Put it in a couple of good knots. I like to tie a bow. You don't have to. You can leave the strings long. You can shorten them up. It doesn't matter. I like to put them in a tennis shoe knot where I leave a little, I do a double flip through of the loops, and then I leave it just like that. And now we have our pages in our soft covered book. Now, I think a soft covered journal is the easiest one to start with because it's so forgiving. If we're not in here just right, we're going to have enough wiggle in our cover to cover, you know, some of those issues if we have them. Okay. So now what I would do is I would come through and I would say, you see how this one is hanging out? That certificate page. Now I could take my tearing ruler, now that I can really see it, and I could come back and I could just trim off that page just where I want it to be, right inside the cover. And then I know with my ledger papers, I wanted to fold those in. So I'll just take it and I'll fold it in, okay? You can make them exact, but you sure don't have to, all right? So this one I'm just going to look at and tear off the edge here of our dictionary page so that it's within our confines. You got some quilt pieces. Oh, I love doing quilt piece covers. I actually have a beautiful quilt right around the trunk of my car still. It has embroidered butterfly squares. I just can't hardly wait to get a hold of it. Okay, my hymnal page, you can barely see, but I'm going to leave them in there. Yeah, I do have 6 kids, every one of them, okay? Our ledger paper, this one I'm just going to fold in the other direction. And this is our business letter, and it has quite a bit of extra before we would get into the text, so I'm just going to tear that off. Okay. And then we would just continue all the way through our book until we have all of our pages close to where we want them. Ooh, there goes, can you hear them? I bet you can't. The airplanes are flying over to go to the Chiefs game. They come right over our house. Let me do that. Okay, this little bit of music is just a little bit wide, so let's take a little bit of that off. Okay. If you hit a glitch in your paper, just grab your scissors. We don't sweat that stuff. We don't sweat the small stuff with this. Okay. And then just close it over and get a look and see how you're doing. This one needs to come off about 1 inch. So I'm just ripping and then closing again. Okay. This one I'm going to fold in. And we're leaving the hymnal page because it was close enough. This one we took off just a little bit. Now, on the edges here, yes, my barn quilt Lori is up. I posted a picture, but maybe I just posted on my personal page. If I did, I'll put it up on my business page. It looks pretty cool. That thing looked so big when it was down here, and now that it's on the house, it doesn't look so big at all. So I told the lady that taught the class, I wish I'd have gone 4 foot by 6 foot, but I can't even fathom. This one is 3 foot by 4 foot, and that's a lot. Okay, so now we have this, and thank you guys. I love to teach. It's kind of in my blood, I guess. So now I'm happy enough with my pages being this wide. I think we could tie our ties and not tear them up. But we can always change it later. The certificate page probably needs to fold in just a hair more. And that's all you do. You just gotta take a look at it and do it. Now, I'm not gonna worry about the top and bottom of my pages being longer than my cover. Can you see how they're hanging out here? They're pretty straight up here, but they're hanging out here. I do love to hear it. You could trim all of this off in mass and get close. And usually on the top and bottom, I'm just going to take my scissors to the whole thing. But they don't have to be too particular because our closure doesn't affect that at all. So this one is now full of pages, and we have 15 minutes to get the little one put together. It's going to be more work, so I don't know, but we'll see how far we get. Okay, so this one now is ready for all of its embellishments and decorating and filling. I am going to tuck the little silver Civil War letter right underneath my ribbon in the cover to hold it in because I want to make sure I don't lose that one. So look, we did it. We got pages in a book. You like this one, Capri? These are one of my favorites. I love these. These please me personally. They're very durable and usable. I think you could make the little cover one. And if you had these padded covers, this makes a really usable book. You could sew in some art paper, some sketch paper, some watercolor paper. I love that stuff. Okay, so let's set that aside. Let me move a few scraps of paper. Make sure that my sewing needle is where I can find it. I have been known to lose it in my scrap pagers. Okay, and here is our little book. So if you remember this one, it was the cover from an old dictionary. And we cut it into 4s. And then we pieced together a spine for this one. And I really started to work on this one off camera because it's going to kind of be a booger, I'm afraid. But I didn't. I thought, let's work the booger together and see what we need. So for this one with the hard spine, this one is such a heavy spine, it's not going to be easy to poke through. Normally it would be a little thinner, and I would use my crocodile and I would just punch some holes through here. In this case though, what we're going to do is we're going to make a template. Okay, so a template is just a scrap of paper that is the same size as your spine. So I'm just trimming a piece of paper. It's not perfect in here. And then I'm going to fold up, and you can see it's too wide because it's catching. I love using a book cover to make a book cover, Linda. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to trim it a little bit more narrow. Okay. And I'm put it in there. Now I think it would close. Yeah. Now my little template fits in on my cover, right? Now I'm going to take my awl. This is my awl. It's a pokey tool. And when I first started, I used an ice pick. So you don't have to have an awl. They're easily found in the leather working department though at most stores. Hobby Lobby always has them. And they're very inexpensive, really, back with the leather tools. And I'm going to use this to poke the holes in my book cover through the template. And it is not going to be easy because that thing, you remember how thick that cover was? So I'm really going to have to work at it. And like I said, I was very tempted not to show you this part because I knew it wouldn't be easy. Okay, but it's coming through. You see it? And you just keep working. I want to be able to get my needle through it. So I want the hole to be fairly sizable. Okay, so now I have a hole in the template, and yeah, you just take, and through my cover. Okay, that's going to be important when we get to our pages. So keeping it lined up, I'm just going to go and get the top and bottom holes now. Watch your fingers, it's sharp for a reason. Okay, and I'm just twisting and pushing. I don't have the world's strongest hands, guys, so this is how I have to do it, okay? And so I'm still lined up in the middle. I can check it on my way down, and then I'm just going to line that up and do the same thing down here. Let me try to lay that back down so that I get about the same spacing, okay? Now I'm just doing one group of pages in this book as well. I kind of like single signature books. But if you were going to do more than one, you would just have to do this again and again. I have never tried a drill bit. It would work with just the cover though, before I covered with the fabric. If I was using a thick, heavy spine, that'd be a great idea, Brenda. Okay, so now I have 3 holes in my spine for my book. And I have a template. Hey, Missy, how are you? For my page poking so that it's right. Now, if you really want to make sure you're in good shape before you take this away from your book, mark this as your top, wherever your top is. And that way we know we'll get it put back together right. And now we're back to the same process we had before. Here's my stack of pages right here that are going to go in this book. Okay, so I've got my little doily again, folded the wrong way again. Just going to fold it in half. Here is my Civil War era letter that's going in this one. This one is 1862. Can you see that? It says Father's first letter home from Civil War, 1862. And it is really fragile. It's come all apart. And it says Columbus, Kentucky, December the 17th, 1862. Dear Father, I sit down on my knapsack to inform you that I am well at present and hoping these few lines may find you enjoying the same blessing. So it goes on for the letters. And I'm just going to tuck it in here. It's like I said, it won't sew in, but it's going in. For this one, I grabbed a sheet of the white handmade paper and I grabbed a sheet of the gray because our covers, although it has the fabric on the binding, it does have a little different feel, okay? Then I grabbed a page out of the Psalms, out of my old Bible. I grabbed 2 of those. We may wind up not using 2, but I grabbed 2, so we'll fold them. Didn't they? This is a cover from a Sears and Roebuck little guide. It may be a reprint. It doesn't say, but it's super fun. And I kind of like the color. I like a little surprise of color. And it's small, so it's going to work. So I'm going to fold that. This hymn, our hymnal pages, we'll have to tear those in half to get them to fit and fold them in half. Okay. We've got our piece of typing paper, and I know it's way too wide, so I'm just going to fold it, and I'm going to leave the tail here so that it's not terribly wide. And we can go ahead and take that off. Oh, I forgot the map in the other book. Okay. Here is our map page for this book. And I'm just going to take a chunk. Okay. Put it over there, and then I'm going to fold it about the width of our book and just go ahead and tear that off. This ledger is the same, but it's not connected, so that works great for this one. We're just going to fold it over. Yeah, just going to fold it over. Okay, we'll get 2 of those. I love old paper. Oh, Miss Adeline is doing good, Sherry. They were going to come over for lunch today, but they wound up with other plans. This is the print, another print that was in there. And I thought this would be about the right size for this book. So let's just get a couple of these. This was out of an old book of like 10 type prints. And we're just going to take it in half and then fold it in half. Okay. And we'll do it with the other one too. We probably got too many pages, but that's okay. We also only have 5 more minutes. So let's grab this page of book because I love that. And let's get, this is another State Department letter. And I think 1/3 of it is about, so let's go ahead and take off the bottom part. We'll save all of that. Well, too many when I can't push the needle through them. That's how we know for sure there's too many. And this one, we're going to go ahead and fold up for a pocket. So let's get that folded in there so we sew that in right. I think we'll forego the print page because it's the one that wanted to crack. And then we have to get the certificate paper in there. We have to because I love this stuff. Can't help it. And I think we'll go this way with it and then decide how we're going to handle the top and bottom. Okay. Maybe. Let's do this and this and this. Okay. So here we go again. We've got all of our stuff here. Let's see how it looks. All right. I want to remind you guys, if you have any time this afternoon to hang around with the Crafty Bunch, Miss Brenda is up right after me in the next few minutes. And she is a hoot. She is a lot of fun. Okay. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of go busy paper, calmer paper, busy paper, calmer. Maybe not that one. Let's get this one in here, the little graphic paper, and let's get a Bible page. That one's going to be way too big. We'll sort it out once we get there. Dolores, I love old papers. I just love them. I really like putting the paper, and your pages don't have to line up. We can do the doily off to the top and the other papers off center. That's okay, as long as they all smash in together, we'll be fine. We'll be just fine. Okay, let's get one of our hymnal pages in there for sure. Definitely got to have that. Oh, Joy Unspeakable. Love that one. There's a print. And I think we're down to our scraps. We're about there. Let's grab the plain piece of like the type paper. And let's put this in. That is really heavy. Would make a great center, but we're going with the contract document in the center. Okay, so I have all these together now. And that's probably about all I can manage with the needle. Okay, let me get my little doily on there straight as I can. And now we take our little template, okay, that we have already made, and we fold it in half so we have those pokey marks right on the edge. And we're gonna make sure we're upside down, right side up, you know, the way we want the pages to go. Make sure we don't have any really weird things happening. And then we're gonna take this template and we're gonna push it right into where our pages fold together. You see that? Right down in that crease. And this becomes our guide for sewing. Because if we get through these holes on the paper right where we put them, it's gonna line up with the holes on our cover. Okay? How fast can I do this? I can't do it in a minute. So the next time we get together, we will have pages in and we'll start working on some of the decorative elements. But the sewing in process is just the same. We use the template to keep it where we want to go. You can also just take your template and mark it with a pen, a marker, something that'll make a mark on it. There we go. I spit it out. But this way I can see right here is where I want to go for the center. And let me make sure I've got my cover going the right way. And that then lines up with my center hole. And I go out, through. Okay. Now I've got my hole on my cover, right? And I'm going to come through it. I'm not going to go through my pages yet. I'm going to get that needle through. I have sewn in my template so many times, Sherry, and then had to try to tear it away. Okay, so we pull that out because now we have our center spot right there and we're through the top. As long as our center's in the right place, we can line straight up on our fold and get through all of our pages. All right, guys, my time is up. Go see Miss Brenda. I will see you guys really soon. Hope you have a great Sunday. Thank you for hanging out with me. See ya.